Hello BookTube. I have a very brief Saturday MegaStuff video for you here. Just a couple of items that really wouldn't make a video on their own. Like, for instance, a little discourse on not so much Preptober, which I've been talking about. Preptober is the month when we are preparing for NaNoWriMo, which I trust you are all going to join me in attempting in November, where we write a novel in November. I trust you will all be joining me for NaNoWriMo. And so October, dubbed Preptober by NaNoWriMo people, is incredibly important because you want to free yourself to write every day in November, and you won't be free to write if you're researching or plotting or filling in holes that you could have filled in before. You can do everything before the stroke of midnight on the 1st of November except write. So you can plot to your heart's content in October. Now, we're not at the plotting stage yet in my Preptober videos because I have yet to decide on which story idea I'm going to make into a story. I'm still working on that. I have two, and then there's a third that I'm not really counting because it's for something else and has a deadline and has expectations. So I'm not, it's not quite so freeform as the two ideas, Kendra Victrix and the At the Elliott Annex. Those are two ideas that are freeform. They're growing and accumulating details in my mind. The third idea is deadline. And because I am a creature of deadlines, it feels completely different and completely easier. I don't think there's any good reason for that, but nevertheless, that's true. But I'm not, the MegaStuff bit here today is not so much Preptober as it is AuthorTube just in general. Which is, for those of you who are brand new to YouTube, maybe you're encountering YouTube and BookTube through the algorithm foisting one of my videos on you. AuthorTube is the splinter of BookTube that is entirely inhabited by writers. Published, unpublished, amateur, experienced, giving advice, taking advice, providing a community of writers. And I have made many AuthorTube videos. I've been watching AuthorTube and touting it since the day that it was dubbed, since the very beginning of AuthorTube in 2016. And the more I think about these stories, and the more I think about all the Preptober videos and NaNoWriMo videos that I want to make, the more I realize that I have been a little neglectful of AuthorTube. Maybe a lot neglectful. Because it has grown exponentially and has all sorts of things in it. So I think I'm going to, considering how much writing I'm doing, both fiction and nonfiction, lately, I'm thinking that I might devote a little more attention to AuthorTube, a little more regular attention, a video a day, a video a week at least, on tips, even though, you know, there's nothing binding and what works for me might not work for you, on reactions and thoughts and progress reports and whatnot, all that sort of stuff. I thought I would run it by you and see. I know that a lot of writers watch this channel, so if that's of interest to you, I am thinking about doing that. And then we have mail. Just this is a quick MegaStuff video. We have 3 packages here, including a box. So let's see what we can come up with here. Oh, great. Okay. I was reached out. The publicist reached out here. This is by W.S. Winslow, and it's called The Northern Reach. Very nice. Very nice looking. Let's see what we have here. A heart-wrenching first novel. Oh, this is a debut. Great. About the power of place and family ties, the weight of stories we choose to tell, and the burden of those we hide. Frozen in grief after the loss of her son at sea, Edith Baines stares across the water at a schooner under full sail yet motionless in the winter wind and surging tide of the northern reach. Edith seems to be hallucinating. Or is she? Edith's boat watch opens the northern reach, set in the coastal town of Wellbridge, Maine, where townspeople squeeze a living from the perilous bay or scrape by on the largesse of the summer folk and whatever they can cobble together, salvage, or grab. At the center of town life is the Baines family, land-rich, cash-poor descendants of the town founders, along with the ne'er-do-well Moody clan, the Martins of Skunk Pond, and the dirt-farming, bootlegging Edgecombs. Over the course of the 20th century, the families intersect, interact, and intermarry, grappling with secrets and prejudices that span generations, opening new wounds and reckoning with old ghosts. Okay, that's interesting. That plot description widened out from Edith Baines pretty quick and didn't go back to her. So that's kind of interesting. So what do we know about W.S. Winslow? This is a debut novel. That's great. W.S. Winslow was born and raised in Maine, but spent most of her working life in San Francisco and New York in corporate communications and marketing. A ninth-generation Mainer, she now spends most of the year in a small town down east. She holds bachelor's and master's degrees in French from the University of Maine and an MFA from NYU. And her fiction has been published in Yamasee Journal and Bird's Thumb. And this is her debut novel. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, well, this comes out in March of 2021, so I won't be reading it anytime soon, but it sounds intriguing. That's great. Always enthused about debut novels. Always. The blank canvas feel of them is just so wonderful. So then we'll do this next one, and then we'll go on to the box. What is this next one? Oh, goodness. Okay. All right, this one does have a pub sheet, but more importantly, it has a rap sheet. It has a pub sheet, but it has a rap sheet. Because it has, this is by an author that I know already I like, and that can be invaluable. That helps a lot. That's the kind of bank credit that I often talk about. This is by Eric Vuillard, translated by Mark Polizzotti, and this is The War of the Poor. Thin thing. Some of you will know this author's name because I absolutely praised to the skies his previous book. This comes out on the 3rd of November. In his pre-Goncourt winning book, The Order of the Day, and that's the book that I praised. I cannot praise it highly enough. I cannot recommend it strongly enough. The Order of the Day is a great book. The author provided a behind-the-scenes account of Germany's annexation of Austria in 1938, demonstrating the perils of blind acquiescence to power. Now, in his new book, he brings his distinctive style and analysis to another great moment in history, one which also echoes strongly today, the German Peasants' War. The furious clash between the destitute masses, led by the radical theologian Thomas Müntzer, against the Catholic Church and the privileged upper class. Written with a historian's expertise and a filmmaker's cinematic flair, The War of the Poor is a literary thrill ride through Europe, where the roots of Protestant Reformation and uprisings from the masses were often intertwined. And boy, if this author wants to continue writing 100-page meditations on key moments in history, even key moments in German history, I am all for it. I am all for it. You might think that a 100-page meditation on the Peasants' War is a recipe for boredom, and you would have thought the same thing about that description. A behind-the-scenes account of Germany's annexation of Austria in 1938. You would have thought the same thing about that it would be boring, and nothing could be further from the truth. This author has the touch. It's just amazing. So that's fantastic. This comes out on the 3rd of November. I don't have an advance copy of this, so I will just read it right away. Won't take any time at all, but I will be revisiting it. I've revisited The Order of the Day many times. And then we have the box, which could be a nice big finished copy. I'm not really expecting one, but let's see what... Oh, no, this isn't a book at all. Wow, this is very early. Good Lord. I perhaps have a bit of explaining to do. I mentioned the other day, there's a story behind this. Of course, there's a story behind everything. I mentioned the other day that I wanted a phone that works. Instead, my iPhone, for some reason, will not work. It works for everything else. It's a great media consumption tool. It does everything that I want, other than make phone calls. I can't get it to make phone calls. And that was irritating me, and I went months and months with that being true, and then I realized that I could just use a 21st century expedient and buy a burner phone, $15 cell phone. I thought it would be a piece of junk, and it wasn't. I ordered one, and then I ordered another one, so I spent a total of $30 on 2 phones. And they are completely functional cell phones. They're actually really good little sturdy devices that will allow me to set up a phone line, which is great. It was an unexpected fringe benefit. I wasn't expecting that the phones themselves would be so good. They both came with Google Play Store already installed. They both can handle any amount of apps. I've been having a ball using them, and a little bit kicking myself that I spent hundreds of dollars on an iPhone when that is absolutely not necessary. And that got me thinking. That got me thinking that if it's true for an iPhone, maybe it's true for an iPad. maybe if I could spend $15 on a cell phone that works just fine, what if I spent $20 on a tablet? And maybe see if that is the case. And that's what this is. This arrived very early. This is the $20 tablet that I bought. I made a point of getting tablets with a large amount of memory, and here it is. So we won't do a sexy unboxing the way so many tech channels do, but this comes with clear plastic on top of it. So we'll pull that off. We don't need that. The device itself is got triple cameras there for probably a better camera experience than my iPads have. My iPads don't have that. The form factor is a little thinner. I don't have an iPad here in front of me, but the form factor is a little thinner and a little taller. So in form factor, this is closer to Kindle Fire or Barnes & Noble Nook at 10 inches than it is to an iPad. Okay, you have a SIM drawer, volumes, the camera on the front there, and the slot for powering. Very little in the way of, it's very, very minimal in the way of the edges. I wonder if this thing comes with power, or am I going to have to charge it? Nope, it comes with power. There's the Android symbol. All right, so, okay, so this is a $20 tablet. We will see. We will see what we can see. Can I convince this thing to download all the apps that I need? How good is it? For $20, I was willing to explore. So I don't technically need another iPad inside. This now makes 8. But okay, so this I'm going to have to get back to you about this. It comes with a power brick, standard thing there, and a long cord and also a short cord. A dongle there that's just in case you need it. Wow, this is fully charged. Okay, the machine tells me that it has no SIM card, but it's fully charged, so I can play around with this. Okay, all right, great. I intend to do just that. Not right away, unfortunately, not right away. I really wasn't expecting this. This is very early. So I wasn't expecting it, so I can't play around with it right now, but because I've got a little work to do. I've got a little work to do first, but not a lot of work. I can spend probably 4 hours on this thing tonight, and I will do exactly that. And I've got all this extra charging equipment, but no need to charge it anytime soon because it came fully charged. Great. Fantastic. Okay, so I have a tablet to explore. Great. So we have 2 books. Debut, The Northern Reach, sounded really good, a Maine novel, and The War of the Poor by Eric Villard, who did The Order of the Day. So not bad for that. And a little bit of author talk about maybe an increased presence on AuthorTube. I think I'd like to do that. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. That is your MegaStuff video for today. I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.